Okay. Hey everybody, I'm Book Talk with Kay and my co-host Miss Laya here. She's going to be showing off all the covers to our guest author, Miss Crystal Crist. Sorry.
Chris.
uh, she's going to talk about all her spicy books, and she's a narrator too, and we want to hear all about that. Welcome in. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you. This is gonna be fun. I'm really socially awkward, so this will be something.
You'll fit right in. She is cute.
Thank you.
Um, so tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am a mom of three. I have three toddlers, and I am also a military spouse. So we just moved to Texas. Um, we're stationed at Goodfellow, and I don't know. I grew up kind of. I was kind of the weird child. I lived in my fantasies a lot, so. My therapist claims it's not a real word, but Google says I maladaptive daydream. And so I basically kind of just disappear off into my little world. And I've kind of done that since I was a kid. It's probably for a trauma response, but I would just kind of sit there and I would literally just doze off and I could think of anything in my mind and live out these fantasies like they were happening. Like they will literally bring me emotional satisfaction. So when I was in middle school, I had this little composition notebook and I started writing books. No one ever read them. Still, no one has read them. But I have a book called One Spittin' Out There that was about two vampires. Of course, it was a why choose. And I was only in middle school. And it's a whole entire little composition notebook of an entire book that's never been opened ever again. In high school, I went to a performing arts academy. I had to audition to get into my high school. So, have you ever seen Fame, the
I think
movie?
so.
Well, that was my high school experience. Like, there were singers, there was actors, dancers, artists. Um, I went for acting and singing. So I guess that kind of helps with my narrating. Um, and that's about as exciting as it gets for me.
Have you thought about acting? I know you're a
I did
voice
a lot
actor
of
now, but
I did stage theater. I actually, when I was in middle school, I won first place at like a national competition for um, a comedy play. And I really wanted to do acting. I didn't have like a lot of family support to try to like navigate into that. And I prefer stage acting. I love musicals. I love to sing. And I'm actually going to start getting back into auditioning for musicals.
I didn't know you sang. I mean, I could see that with your voice,
I
but I didn't know
do.
that.
Ashley will tell you she basically has my Santa baby uh recording like saved to her phone.
Oh, well, that's exciting. Now we need to find you a book that has singing in it. Or I guess you could just write one, but
I actually in Courting Sin I have this lullaby that the mom that is sung. And it's like it's a hum though. So I need to come up with a melody for that, but I suck at that.
uh-huh. JJ says
What do you
she
mean
has
got with
one.
singing? Which one's got singing?
Mm. But she is working on a Christmas book.
Is this a Christmas one? Is there singing in there? I'll give you the Santa Baby recording.
Oh yeah. Well, that'll be cool. Now we're gonna have
It
to
is
like get on this
amazing.
narration as soon as possible. That'll be the trailer for the book. Her just singing
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Actually, that would be a really good trailer with that song.
Okay, so tell us all about your book.
Oh, that's the hard part, isn't it? Okay. Okay, I guess we'll start with where'd it go? We'll start with Blackbird because that's technically the oldest book I have right now since I had unpublished Courting Sin. All right. So, Blackbird. It is so different from like everything else that I write. It's a stepbrother romance, but it's not your typical stepbrother romance. So, Skylar is the main female character, and she, for the better part of a few years, has been raised by her stepfather, and everything's fine. She is the perfect girl in school, OCD to a fault. Everything has to be perfect until senior year when she's about to turn 18 and her 18-year-old stepbrother that she never knew she had shows up after his mom's death and has to finish out the rest of the school year. Xander is the complete opposite of everything Skylar stands for. He listens to grunge music. He's an asshole. He slams his door shut right next to her every night, but she cannot stop trying to be nice to him. And eventually it just breaks through, and Xander realizes that that's all he's really ever wanted in life. And they fight tooth and nail trying to avoid how they feel about each other. But it's unavoidable. It is dark though. There are some really dark themes to this book that are very realistic and very graphic. It's kind of my trauma dump, and I don't recommend it to anyone that has any triggers. It is not a dark, I don't think it's a dark romance. I don't think just because it's a stepbrother romance that it's dark. I think that it has dark themes and that it has dark topics, but I think to consider anything controversial dark is a stretch. I think it's very sweet. There's one thing my readers take away from it is Xander bringing her oranges. Apparently, that was a big takeaway. I didn't mean for it to be a big takeaway with everyone, but he brings her oranges, and it's just this cute little thing that he does at school, and
I think that was
that's it.
just because that was his first act of any kind of
Yeah,
human emotion towards her.
I just never expected that to be like a thing that people remembered, and it was funny when people would like message me and be like the oranges, and I was like, oh, okay.
So every time I picture him, I think of Hayden Christensen in Life as a House.
You
The
know what? I
teenage
can see that. Yeah. No, I could
and
totally see that. I love Hayden
because he's a
Christensen.
I do too. But handsome, but then he's got attitude, but then he's
Yeah.
sweet, and you're like whiplash.
I think the favorite thing I had added to this book that it wasn't even like intentional was just the between him and Lizzie. And that was fun because it happened so naturally as I wrote it. And I was like, oh, this is so their thing now. Like they're just gonna love hate each other.
Yeah, you guys, you need to listen to it because her narration on this
Oh,
is
well,
so
this is
good.
not me. I did not narrate this one. But Re sorry, pseudonym. Scarlet Branches did with Jonathan, what's the last name?
Swift, isn't it?
Jonathan Swift. Y'all killing me with these pseudonyms. Like I know both of them personally, so it's so hard remembering pseudonyms. But Jonathan goes crazy in that narration. There is literally a part where he screams. So yeah, if you have triggers, definitely don't listen to this one. The next one is A Forbidden Encounter. So I want to start by saying Courting Sin had originally been my debut novel. And I unpublished it because I just felt like my readers deserved to have a perfect, edited, and just polished novel before finishing the series. And A Forbidden Encounter, this is how I originally wanted to write Courting Sin. I just wanted to write a smutty, fun little book about this, seven deadly sins. And that didn't happen because my characters took over. So I was like, you know what? I'm writing it. And this is the unofficial retelling of the relationship between Asmodeus and Lilith. If you don't know, Asmodeus is the demon of lust, and Lilith was the mother of demons. And they were thought to have been married. So I created a little story, modern day, to introduce them to the world. And it's not heavy in plot. It's just fun. It's literally 140 pages in the paperback, super quick read. And I narrated with Jonathan Swift, the audiobook.
Okay, so guys, I listened to this one first and fell in love with the narration. So then I went to Blackbird, and it's still so good. But Jonathan really shines in this one, like all throughout. He's got that growl down.
He's so good at dark, which is
Yep,
so funny because, I hear him in the stuff that he normally records, and it's not what he normally records. So this must be like his fun projects that he does on the side because he's got a range.
so what inspired you to start your narrating career?
Um, I had actually narration was kind of a dream of mine since I had been in high school. I'd always wanted to be a voice actor. I actually really wanted to do I loved anime. I do love anime. And I've always wanted to be one of the the English dubbed voices for anime.
Hmm,
Still a dream. But I actually worked for a radio station when I lived in Florida, and they trained me to host their jazz station, and I did the ads for their pop station. And so I would spend about 4 hours a day at work, um, just practicing in front of a mic. And they would make me do it over and over and over again, like one line for like 3 hours. And then I didn't
crazy.
realize it was just something you could, start to do. Like for some reason in my head, I had these ideas that it was so hard to start narrating. And when I met narrators and I found out you could literally just start narrating, I was like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you could just get into it until I got on TikTok, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I thought like you had to be an actor or
Yeah.
something and like go to a studio. I didn't
I
know
thought
that
you
you
needed
could
like an
just,
agent and everything, but just as I
yeah,
didn't know I could just publish my books. So I had never, tried to because I was like, oh, I don't have a publishing house. I don't have a publishing agent. Those are so hard to get. And then I got on TikTok and I realized I can.
yeah. What's your favorite style of book to or genre to narrate?
Um, I think personally, I think I have a bit more of a sensual voice. So I do enjoy doing the darker, spicy stuff. Um, I when I used to take acting classes when I was younger, I used to always audition for like the pretty innocent girl, and then I would never get that part. And they would always give me the mean or like the edgy girl. And in my head, I was like, why? Like I'm so nice. And now I love doing that. That's my absolute favorite thing to be speaking because it's just so much fun. Like you get to just narrating as a whole and acting as a whole is so much fun. You get to literally live other people's lives. And like that's you. Like when I'm narrating uh JJ's book, when I'm narrating Ashley's book, like those characters are me now. And it's just so exciting. As someone who lives in their fantasies, I get to now live in other people's fantasies. It's cool.
So when I think of Skylar and Lilith, I kind of picture you a little bit because you're so sweet, and these leading females are very kind and super sweet. And um, so were you a little bit of the inspiration for those?
I have to say, this is something that actually me and Ashley have talked about. I wouldn't call it inspiration, but I think that naturally as a writer, it's something you can't help but doing. At least for me, because when I'm writing about what I want to read. That's how I come up with my stories. And as I'm writing, the way that I kind of let the ideas flow is it kind of just plays out in my mind like it's happening. And I guess naturally I put myself into the main character role as it's happening out in my mind. And I think I just unintentionally write myself into my stories without thinking about it. I mean, with my first book that I'm re-releasing, she has long black curly hair. And that was the first thing I ever wrote. So I think it just happens, and I don't even think that you can help it. I think if I tried writing about a character that wasn't similar to me, I think my readers would see that I forced it.
Yeah,
But I'm okay with
that
that
makes
because
sense.
there's all plenty of other writers that write different kinds of characters. So, like you know what you're getting when you come to me.
That was weird. Sorry. It just said that I became a super fan of
Yeah,
my
I saw
own life.
that. I didn't know that was possible.
I didn't either. So, what inspired Forbidden Encounter in Blackbird?
A Forbidden Encounter and Blackbird. So Blackbird, I was going through a really rough time in my life, and I had hit basically just like the lowest of the low. And I think I just needed an outlet. I have a really hard time talking to people and like venting and getting emotions out. And so when I started writing Blackbird, originally I was like, I'm gonna write this fun little stepbrother romance. And then my emotions just kind of poured onto the page. And I wrote about the friend I wish I would have had as a child when it happened to me. I wrote about the love I wish I could have experienced. I wrote about the parents that could have loved me that way. And then I took every ounce of hurt and I wrote that very graphic scene that came from a very real experience and I just got it out. And I have to say, ever since I did that, it's been like a weight off of my shoulders. And that's why it's so graphic. I struggle reading books that have that glaze over it. As a survivor, I struggle feeling invalidated.
Yeah,
I feel that if you're reading it, you should be feeling it. And it's uncomfortable, it's traumatizing, but why, this is going to sound mean, why should I sugarcoat it for you if it wasn't sugarcoated for me? And reading
yeah,
should be emotional. Like you need to feel what the characters feel. And sometimes what you feel isn't going to feel good.
yeah.
And a Forbidden Encounter was just for fun. Like there was no, I have to say, there was no crazy inspiration. I was just thinking it was during my unpublishing of Courting Sin, and I was like, oh, how cool would it be just to write about like the seven deadly sins as demons and just like personally and just write cute little demon romances with them because I love reading demon romances, but I just never feel like there's enough.
That's, yeah.
I just,
I think it's
I feel
getting
like it's
more
always the
popular
same.
now.
Yes. And it's just, I've always ever heard of just like the same couple of ones. And I was like, I guess I'll write it because I want to read it.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you did. um, so your narration is freaking amazing. Like, I'm not just saying that. I'm kind of
I
a
appreciate it. It's like
narration.
one of my biggest insecurities right now. So I
Well, it
appreciate
makes
it.
or breaks a book, like, as a reader. So I would rather be honest and be like, hey, this is, but no,
Yeah.
it's amazing. Like,
I
I
know.
just
I would hope that
absolutely,
someone would have said to me, Crystal,
do you think it's harder to narrate your own work or is it easier?
easier, at least for me. Because I know exactly the route I want it to go. So like when I was narrating a Forbidden Encounter, I was like, I know how I want her to say it because in my head I've already heard her say it. I get so nervous with other people's books because it's their babies. I know how I feel about my books, so I can only imagine how they feel about theirs. And the last thing I want to do is for an author to listen to it and be like, Ugh, I hate it, because that would break my heart.
Yeah. Well, and if you think should sound one way, and then they have it something different in their head,
Exactly.
like I imagine
It's a
that to
very
be stressful.
nerve-wracking thing.
Yeah. Well, you do amazing. So,
Thank you.
would you care to read us a little snippet of Blackbird?
Oh yeah. Oh, yes, I would.
You guys get to witness it live.
Hmm. Oh crap though. Like a lot of it's spicy. Do you think chapter 4 is okay? The bleacher? I don't think she says any bad words. You know?
She
Like I don't think.
doesn't.
Okay. Because it's Skylar. All right, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that one.
We planned on all of them, Ashley.
Ashley loves courting Sid. Oh, I didn't realize how quick it happens in chapter 4. I'm so sorry, y'all. You can tell I had fun writing this. Okay, let me get to.
But like as you're reading, it doesn't feel like it's too rushed or anything. Like it
It
hit
doesn't.
just no,
I've been
it
a little
hit.
nervous about Blackbird lately.
Mm-mm.
Okay, good. Okay, I'm trying to make sure it's not too long. Okay, cool. There was a small area that you could squeeze through, usually used by kids who wanted to sneak around. I had never really gone under them since I, myself, never needed to sneak around anywhere. This was where Brittany had been caught cheating on Christian, too. The thought of it made my stomach turn a little. Maybe I shouldn't have been under here to begin with. It wasn't my business, and honestly, it was disrespectful for me to be poking around anyways. I was just about to turn around when I caught the sign of movement in the corner of my eye. Crap. I crouched behind one of the pillars holding up the stands and looked at where the sound was coming from. I could see Brittany's golden brown locks hanging from her ponytail that had a red and gold ribbon tied to it, our school colors. Her head was bobbing forward with a strong, broad hand holding her just below her ribbon. Her hands were gripping the boy's thighs as she tried to steady herself. I had never seen someone giving, or getting, a blowjob, and I was a little stunned by it if I was being honest. My cheeks felt hot, and I felt like a horrible person for staring, but I was frozen still. She was moaning as he pushed into her mouth like she liked it. Was it pleasurable for girls too? I couldn't imagine how it would be. Lizzie had talked about the stuff she did with boys in the past, but it always grossed me out hearing about it. She'd even tried to convince me to watch porn to see how it was done, and I threatened to tell Jake she had concealed feelings for him if she so much as typed the website onto my laptop. That was the end of that. My breathing felt shallow as I watched. Is this what Christian wanted me to do for him? Obviously it was. I was sure that Brittany had done that and more when they were together. I tried to envision my knees digging into the dirt as he held my head against him, letting him have his way with me until my throat made the same noises that Brittany's was making. A small rush of heat drifted down to my pelvis. Suddenly, the hand in her hair tensed, and he stopped pushing her head against his groin. She continued moving, but the guy had clearly become distracted. My eyes roamed up his body, and I saw a familiar black shirt on his chest, the same shirt I saw right before we left our house. I was so stupid for not noticing it sooner. When my eyes met his face, nausea crept into my throat as I realized who the hand belonged to. Xander. I'm just gonna stop there.
That was good.
That's
You
good?
guys download it, do whatever you need to do.
I realized like as I was reading it, I was like, oh, she says a lot more than I thought she did. I was like, she's a liar. She's saying dirty words.
Well, I guess I don't remember it because it was like thoughts. So like
I
I
know.
don't know.
And in my head, I was like, Skylar wouldn't say that.
Well, thank
I
you. That
know
was
you are. I
amazing.
know you're waiting for it. Don't worry.
So as and Lilith's chemistry was off the charts, there was this instant pull between them. Um, how do you find the perfect mix of build up and payoff?
That is, that's a hard one. And I'm always scared that I'm not providing enough tension because I'm not a slow burn necessarily writer, but I'm also not like an insta love. It's kind of, I try to find a mix. I try to think about situations I've been in. So I kind of try to just think about dates I've gone on that have ended pretty well. Why am I shaking my head? That was
The
weird.
bird.
Okay. I've never done that. Okay. Anyway, I've just tried to compare it to real life experiences. I know when I'm reading, I can't stand when something doesn't feel relatable. Like, oh, that wouldn't happen, or like, they would not say that. I don't like feeling that way, so I don't want my readers to feel that way. So I just try to literally put in my own life experiences into the scenes. And stuff that I know would happen, will happen, you know? Maybe not necessarily with a demon, but with a guy.
Yeah. Uh, can we talk about Az's tongue?
What would you like to know about his
what
tongue?
um what was the inspiration for that?
Um, okay. So I remember reading, I just don't remember the title, but I remember reading a demon book. And I was literally thinking to myself the entire time, he's a demon. Why is he not using his tongue more?
Yeah.
And I knew people growing up that had, you know, cut their tongue so that it was forked. And I remember being a little turned on by that. And so I was like, imagine what you could do if it was a demon's tongue. I mean, the length of it, come on.
Yeah.
So it's just my own deprived fantasies was the inspiration for that because I'd
I think
love to experience that.
yeah, I think we all share that with you because whoa.
Yeah, that was like one of the main things. Actually, my husband would tell you, I don't know where it is, but I had a post-it note one day when I had was like, I'm gonna do these demon things. I made a post-it note that said monster, clock, and forked tongue. And that was the only notes I had. And I was like, I'm gonna make a book about this.
Well,
He
you
saved
nailed
the
it.
post-it note somewhere. I don't know where it is, but he saved it for me.
Oh, you
I
guys are like Derek and Gray off Grey's
know.
Anatomy.
Yeah, with all the drama that follows. I feel them. I feel that couple.
um, Xander and Skylar also have a forbidden type relationship. Um, what do you think is the inspiration or the draw to things that are forbidden?
That's a good question. Growing up, I had always read, maybe not necessarily stepbrother, but forbidden kind of tropes. So like age gaps. I mean, when I started college, I was basically in love with my professor in the first year. Um, and so there's just something romantic about people loving each other so much that there's like nothing that can keep them apart. So like, you know, age gap, the amount of people like that give people shit just because they like someone that's older than them is insane. Listen, stepbrother romances, they're not illegal, okay? Things can happen, you can make it work. But I'm just, you know, like it's just the idea that love can defy just really hard circumstances. And it makes sense to me if you take this beautiful girl and this handsome as sin man, and you're shoving them into the same home, having never met each other. what do you think's gonna happen?
Yeah.
Honestly.
The same age, or even if he was a little older, what that just makes it
Exactly.
even more like,
It's
yeah.
just asking for destruction. And honestly, Skylar and Xander are two halves of me. So like there's this sweet side growing up that I forced so hard to stay on the surface no matter what happened. But then there was the Xander side of me that everything was still happening to me, and that's how I wanted to be. I wanted to just be cold. I wanted to just give up on everyone. But I was fighting for myself to stay afloat. And so I just wanted to write them and make them people so I could just kind of say goodbye to that part of myself. And I
I love
fucking love
how
Step Brothers on Christmas.
therapeutic. Well, yeah, when I was young, that's like what all the
I know.
fan fiction was. Like,
You know what though? I have to be honest. And I've never said this to anyone. Um, it probably stems from my mom one time dated this guy who had a son. And so naturally my little kid mind had just like this natural he taught me how to play guitar. So like it makes
oh,
sense
that was
now. Like
it.
as I'm
Yeah.
saying it out loud, things are clicking.
I mean, it's a guitar. You kind of have to be a
Yeah.
little attracted.
And Xander likes music, so we're getting he had dark hair. We're getting somewhere here.
um, so, in the Forbidden Encounter, there are hints at biblical themes and names. How, in concepts of good and evil, how much of a religious conscience did you have when exploring this?
Um, well, in terms of like the religious, I guess, notes to the book, I had them there simply for the fact that it is a retelling of them. So I kind of rolled with the Lilith being Adam's first wife and when people that considered that because there's no actual like writings of this stuff. But so I made Adam the boss and Eve the wife. Um but it's so loosely based. Like I did that for the sake of anyone who is religious that enjoys these kind of books can poke fun like, oh hey, like like I know what that
Yeah,
is. I know I like including Easter eggs, but I hope that everyone takes it very loosely. It's definitely not supposed to be biblically accurate. It's just a fun twist on biblical stories. I do my
yeah.
research though. I heavily research things. Like if I'm going to include religious stuff, I do look into multiple sources on what I'm talking about just to make sure I'm not insulting anyone's religion.
Yeah, I consider myself a Christian, like a liberal Christian, if that's even a thing. But anyways, a lot of people are very touchy about including that with like lustful or sexual things. How how do you do it so tastefully? I guess because I was not offended. Not that I would be looking for that. Like if I'm reading a romance book, obviously there's going to be that in there. But
Yeah. I think the biggest thing is making sure you do your research correctly. Like I feel like it would have been a lot more insulting if I included these characters and then started talking about stuff that had absolutely nothing to do with these characters. Like a simple note of Adam having a serpent on his arm was supposed to reference the snake.
yeah,
Um, and it's just small stuff like that because I'm not actually jabbing at the religion. And I see a lot of people make books where the intent is to insult the religion. I'm just writing something that is related to a religion and making sure I do my research so that it comes across credible instead of
yeah.
teasing and poking fun. Because I'm not Christian, but I would never, ever make fun of Christianity. I grew up Catholic. I was christened and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think that like you were pushing one way or another. It was just to me it was like a little nod to the story, like the
Yeah.
snake and these are
And
these
it's fun
characters, but
hearing
that
that,
wasn't
like
like
when it's things that it's fun to just be able to hear that
yeah,
kind of. those little things. Like I'm pagan and I love reading when I read Crescent City, I loved hearing like nods to like certain gods and goddesses and I'd be like, that's so cool. Even though it has nothing to do with the actual goddess, it's so cool hearing. And I imagine sometimes it's fun to hear that being Christian too.
Yeah, especially in a non derogative way, because a lot of
Yes.
times, like, it is, this is what's wrong with Christianity
Yep.
or whatever. Like, so
And
you did it very
there's no
tasteful.
place for us to say what's wrong and what's right. Like we do
Yeah,
not get to tell someone else what their beliefs need to be. Like, respect it. And if you're gonna write about it, definitely respect
yeah, yeah. See, I
it.
think that's what most people do, but a lot of times it's not like that. But yes, I read to just because I like it. I'm not looking for the religious part in anything that I'm reading unless it's the Bible. But
Yeah.
um, so Xander is the perfect mix of alluring and like off limits, and but like he's got these sweet moments. What who inspired you, or what inspired you to write him like that?
Um, that's really excellent. I really don't know how I was able to kind of bring that out of Xander. And I actually have to say, I think that if I hadn't met the friends that I did on this social media app, I don't think I would have been able to portray Xander that way because Xander is like I wished someone could have come in and brought that out of me. I wish someone would have cared enough to press that someone would have brought me dinner to my room because I skipped it. Like I just wish that someone would have stepped up and been like, "Hey, like I know you fucking hate me right now, but like I just want to make sure you're okay." And I had so many people here. I had JJ, I had Ashley, and they did that. And they always reached out and they always listened to me. And I think that having them made Xander possible. I don't think he would have been possible without them.
I love that. I love Skylar because I see a lot of myself in Skylar. I'm that friend for people. Like I'm always the one reaching out and trying to make sure everybody's okay. So Skylar was very relatable. I'm kind of a little bit gullible, and like I'm always like, well, there's a reason they're doing this. It's fine. And so, what was the inspiration for her? It, just because you needed someone like her in your life?
No,
You?
Skylar is who I was. So as much as so Xander was kind of internal and Skylar was on the surface. Um, Xander is really how I felt on the daily. Like that was what I didn't let people see, but it was my true feeling that is how I felt. I was angry at everyone. I was resentful toward everyone. But Skylar was kind of the face that I put on. I'm a people pleaser. I can't stand to see someone upset. I will go out of my way, even if it burns me down, to make sure I can help someone. And I also needed, a Xander in my life to be like, fuck them. Like, slow down and like you're important too. And I think that they're just both they might be both opposite, but like they're also both exactly the same at the same time. Like there was the one underlying thing that they needed was just for someone to hear. And that's it. And that's all I've ever wanted in life is just for someone to hear me. Not just like listen to what I'm saying, but like take the words,
Understand?
internalize them, and
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying.
Well, I'm glad you found your people. So, do you think you could read us a little snippet of Forbidden Encounter?
Yeah, I just had it. Oh, there you are.
Sorry, I was going back and forth between books. Sorry.
All right. Oh, that's a really hard one. This one's dirty. Okay, hold on.
In the best way,
Making me
guys.
read all these
Like,
dirty books.
I, I wish she could read the tongue scene because,
Oh God, that would we'd be TikTok would be like, you gotta get out of here.
yeah,
Is the spanking one in her point of view?
Uh, maybe both, because he talks.
That one's not bad, right?
I don't remember like how bad, because he
You know
talks
what?
about like the redness and stuff, but then I think she talks about how it felt.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm a dirty birdie.
Listen, I love that. It was a pleasant surprise.
She's a dirty birdie in all the right ways.
Oh, I have a
You
good
guys,
little
I anytime you watch this sweet woman on TikTok, she's so sweet and soft spoken. And then you read her books and you're like, "Ooh, get it, girl."
I feel like that really is the case. Like I feel like I don't accurately represent the books that I write. Okay, I have a good little section. Okay, so this is she's walking home from work and someone's following her. And so she stops and turns around and like, confronts them. All right. My heart was pounding hard in my chest. Can I help you? I asked him, attempting to keep my voice as calm as possible. Do I know you? You don't, he admitted. His eyes bore into mine with a hidden message I couldn't quite decipher, but I knew it wasn't a pleasant one. But you will. I ignored his previous warning and pulled the bottle from my bag before spraying it directly in his eyes. It was my only option. Stammering back, he groaned in pain and covered his eyes with his hand. So I took the opportunity to run. I ran as fast as I could across the street, trying to push my way toward the complex, where I'd at least be able to alert the security guard. But I only made it about 50 feet before he appeared in front of me out of thin air. I told you that wouldn't work on me. His smile was sinister as he casually wiped the spray from beneath his eyes like it was nothing. They weren't red or swollen. Did I have a dud? You're going to have to do a lot better than that, Los Meus. Who are you? I asked him. My hands were shaking at my sides and I was trying to brainstorm any form of escape plan. This was a small town. We had a police station, but it was in the opposite direction and at least 2 miles away. He clicked his tongue and shook his head. You don't even know what you've done, do you? The single step he took toward me held enough warning for me to take one of my own away from him, trying to keep as much distance between us as possible. Ask better questions. Under the streetlight, he was barely visible. I could tell his hair was blonde and it fell just above his ears. A single strand hung down his forehead, almost touching the center of his brows. I couldn't see the color of his eyes, but they were dark and empty voids that clearly held no compassion within them. What do you want? The panic in my chest was rising, begging me to choose my fight or flight as his grin widened at my question. He's lick he licked his bottom lip. You. Dun dun dun. That was the end of the chapter.
You guys, there's something about an as that just.
And I definitely nicknamed him as because of Akatar. 100%.
I could see that.
Because I was like, I love my ass so much.
No, so sweet. You don't get to see a lot of sweet of this as though, but kind of at the beginning anyway. You guys, it's so good. Um, so how do you handle the reviews, whether they're good or bad? Like, how does that affect your writing?
I
Or
love every review. So whether it is a 1-star review or a 5-star review, I love them all just the same. I actually saw a post recently on my one of my writers groups talking about bad reviews. And I commented, I was like, take the bad reviews. Like, they're necessary as a writer. That helps you grow. Some of these bad reviews can have really good feedback. Like, maybe there was a really big issue with pacing, and you can look at your book and be like, you know what? There was. And if it wasn't for one bad review, I never would have unpublished Courting Sin and rewrote it. But there was one person that had come onto a live and spoke very negatively about courting sin. And I was like, I appreciate it. Maybe the book wasn't for you. I thank you for telling me. But when I got off of the live, I thought about it and I messaged them and I said, hey, I would love to hear your thoughts. Like, I would love for you to explain why you felt that way. And we talked about it and I agreed. And I fixed the problem. And I just feel like authors get really in their head when they see that negative review, but take it. Like, take that negative review and fucking frame it if you have to, but think about how that negative review can have a positive impact in your writing. And one author refused to acknowledge that. She was like, no, reviews are just for the readers. Yes, they are. But they are for us too, because we are readers. Like, you cannot be a writer if you're not a reader. And you need to be able to look at your book from a reader's standpoint too.
Yeah, I love that. I've seen both. Most authors say they appreciate it no matter what, but like I have seen other authors be like, "Well, why would you do that?" And I get
I
it
see
because
that very often.
you want it to go up, like you want people to like your book, but like
Not
you said,
everything's
you're
a
not
banger.
learning. Yeah,
Like, and you have to accept as a writer that not everything you write is going to be best
for
selling.
everybody. Yeah,
It's, take what you can and take the good and the bad, and anything bad, make it good. You can always make it good somehow and use that to, you like it, use it to grow. Like, we can always grow. No one's ever perfect. And they're not trying to be mean to you. Some of them maybe, but most people aren't trying to be mean to you.
yeah.
Maybe that's
Do
the
you have
Skylar
it?
in me.
But I love Skylar, and you're so sweet. So, um, um, do you have any plans to write in any other genres?
Um, Probably not. I really think that like I might write some more like stepbrother stuff. I do enjoy writing that. It's really fun. But I think other than that, I'm probably just going to I'm lying to you right now because I also really want to write a professor romance. So maybe just the
Yes.
taboo romance. Taboo and like fantasy paranormal. I like taboo. And technically, my paranormal fantasies are taboo too. Because what's more taboo than screwing a demon?
Yeah.
What's more taboo than, hitching up with seven men? So, I mean, I guess technically I'm a taboo romance author.
Listen, I love me a good reverse harem. Like,
My hair was stuck in my mug.
okay, so tell us all about your new book that's coming out next month, right?
No. Wait, which one are you talking about? Are you talking about Crest?
Uh,
Or
maybe. Do you have one coming out in November?
well, it is going to be now. So it
Oh,
was originally December.
oh,
Are
okay.
you talking about, yeah, because like this is already out, just not
Oh,
the paperback.
okay. Okay, well, tell us whatever you've got planned because we
I
all need to
will.
stalk you in the best way possible.
So this is what's coming out. And look how pretty it is, guys. And not just that, let me show you how pretty the pages are. I have more art. I have to order a new proof because I drew more art for it, but this is what the
Well, that's
chapter
pretty. I
pages
like the
look like.
daisies.
And then there's two more. There's Hellbores for one of the characters.
Ooh.
There's one more I want to show. Gosh, Crystal, be more prepared next time. And roses.
Oh, they're so pretty.
So, Morrigan was born with a seven-pointed star on her shoulder. And in case you're wondering what that looks like, I have it right here. And it marked her the chosen queen. And that meant that she was raised in captivity until she was
You need your
21 years
crown.
old. Yes, until she was 21 years old. and she was given to the 7 lords of Andonia for them to court, and she must choose one of them to be king. But if you're going to take anything from what I just said, know that I lied. And you will not know what I lied about until you read the book, because this world is
Girl.
filled with lies. It's filled with betrayal, it's filled with lust. There are so many secrets and so many truths that are just revealed. And it is 570 pages of twists and turns and scenes that will make your feet kick and cheeks blush. The 7 men are my own versions of kind of like vampires. So it's not like, the need to feed, constantly. They feed once a month in a ceremony called the offering. And then they get their little Miss Morrigan, and there's a little blood play scenes involved, and it's pretty hot. It's a series though, so you're not gonna like me at the end. I actually had someone message me, and she was like, what, where's this person? And I was like, okay, well, like, have you finished the book? And she's like, well, I'm at 93%. And I was like, you might want to finish it. She's like, what can happen in 7%? I was like, have you ever read a fantasy book? A lot happens for the last 7%.
True.
Yeah, this is my love. Like everything, every ounce of my heart is in this book. And this was supposed to be just as fun as this. And I started writing it, and they took over. Like they took over in the worst, best possible way. And it went from a standalone to a 4-book series to now a 5-book series.
Ooh. I love that though. Just more to love.
You'll hate me, you'll love me, then you'll hate me again. But you're gonna love it. That I can promise. You'll love it. And it's just pretty. It's looking like a pretty book with flowery words and shadow daddies. Because
Yes.
I love me a shadow daddy. And we have a shadow daddy in this book that's also an enemies to lovers. And it's beautiful. It's like, I might be humble in everything in my life, but I am not humble about this book, okay? I'm not
Oh, I
humble
can't
about it.
wait.
I put my all into it. I don't think Nicole's still here, but she was the editor. She put her all into it. So it's a love child of our making.
How did I miss this arc? Like, what the heck?
It's still available. So I
Well,
literally have the book funnel link in my profile, so anyone can just download it right now until it gets to a certain amount of downloads. I had about 400 ARC readers sign up, and I'm allowing probably like 100 more people to download it that didn't sign up.
everybody go do that, but make sure it's not more than 100 because I need to do it too.
Yeah, I don't know, it's my love. There was actually this creator on Instagram. I know, everyone, has feelings if you mention the 2 letters AI, but she's a digital content creator, and she actually created a little video with bringing the characters to life. And it's a really cool video because I could never do that. I don't know how people do that, but it's really cool. And it got me a bunch of pre-orders actually, and it was really nice.
Heck yeah.
I
It's hard to hate it when it helps that much, but I mean, I
know,
get it. You're taking
I know.
work
And I'm an
from,
artist, so
yeah.
I get it. Like I would never make it, um, but it was cool. It was really cool to see my characters come to life. I won't even lie about that. It was awesome. I know she is. It's gonna be really cool. I'm really excited to see how she sees the other characters. Don't sh Oh, you already sent them to her. I was gonna say don't show her what they look like, but I hope that she just comes up with original ideas for what the lords look like. And each of the lords represents, it's an homage to the 7 deadly sins. So like it's not the 7 deadly sins, but they each represent a sin. And so I always ask my readers, like, who do you think represents who? Just for fun, because I love seeing how everyone perceives them. And so many people perceive them as different sins sometimes. And I love watching them start too, because like they'll start the book and be like, oh yeah, these are those. And then at the end of the book, they're like, I was wrong. These were definitely these sins.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait.
Can I read a little
Yes,
segment of
please. I
this?
was getting ready to
Cool.
ask, like, please read us something.
I picked this really cute segment that a lot of my ARC readers really enjoyed. And so she's with the First Lord, and his name is Cassius. Think of
Yes.
Cassius as, I know. Think of him as, have you ever watched Outlander?
Mm-hmm.
To me, he's like Jamie. He's got like the red
Oh,
hair, he's got the curls, and he's just more buff like the Akatar cast, but he's definitely like full Jamie, like personality and everything. And so he took her to town. It's her first time seeing anything other than his castle and her cottage that she grew up in. And she's going to the village. But I'm going to get to a really pretty part where they were dancing together. Okay. When he pulled me against his chest, he leaned down and whispered beside the fabric covering my ear. One dance. Cass, I don't know. He moved anyway, stepping in ways that I had no clue how to follow. Looking down, I eyed his feet and tried to mirror his movements, hoping to not stumble over my feet and embarrass myself in front of the entire town. But gods, his laughter filled the air louder than the music, louder than the music, and I could barely think anymore. Willing to risk it, I stole a glance at what became the most beautiful sight I had ever seen. The smile on his face stretched wide, and even beneath the hood, the wind whisked through his hair. There you go, he cheered. Then he winced a little, and I realized I had stepped on his foot. My face stung with blistering heat, and I made to pull away, but he stopped me. What's a dance if you don't trip over a few steps? Loosen up. I couldn't stop the laughter that lightened the weight in my chest and allowed him to spin me again. As the world around me blurred into a smeared painting of reds and yellows, I closed my eyes and embraced the freedom of it all. I let the sound of the music filter through my ears, washing away my anxiety and fears, if only just for the day. I tried to imagine a life that I could have lived this way, where I rode my horse from my home, maybe even traveled with friends. We would have eaten food until we were too sick to travel home, and then we'd stay in one of the inns just because we could, because I could. Cass spun me again and again, and my laughter was loud now, almost as loud as his. The musicians strummed, and I stumbled. I stepped too far away from Cass and almost fell back, but he grabbed my hand and yanked me forward, the wind ripping the hood straight from my head. At some point while dancing, his hood seemed to fall as well, just enough for his bright red curls to peek through. And the moment the musician spotted him, he paused on his strings, bringing the beautiful sounds to a halt. Everyone stood deathly still, searching for the cause of the disturbance, and Cassius swallowed before looking at me apologetically and lowering his hood the rest of the way. I wanted to scream at him to stop, to yank it back onto his head, but a villager nearby spoke before I could. Lord Cassius, it is an honor. Turning to look at him, the man nearby seemed to choke on his words, watching me with his mouth open. We we were told of the girl with raven hair, dark as night, and your eyes, like the woman at the stables. He dropped to his knees, shoving his clean pants into the dirt without a care in the world. Your Grace, God's blessed. Please, I whispered. It's all right, don't. But it was too late. The crowd around us stared in both confusion and awe as they all pinned their eyes on me. The whispers were deafening to my ears. She's here, the chosen one. It's her. That's it.
fantastic. Oh, so good.
This is like my favorite book, and I like the series basically has already happened in my head already. I know exactly what's happening in what book when it's happening.
The viewers are loving it.
I love you guys.
Okay, so tell us about all your future plans, what you've got going on, where everybody can find you.
Well, right now my focus is going to be Courting Sin in that series. I plan on releasing, so book one is going to be changed to releasing in November. And then I do plan on an audiobook where I'll have me and two other male narrators narrating that one. Um, I'm burping from my coffee, don't mind me. And then I plan to release book two early next year. And I also am planning, other than that, to release part two of Blackbird next year. And it'll be Blackbird Carry You Home. Now, I don't know if you guys know this,
Um,
but have you ever heard of the band Alter Bridge? Do you know
uh,
why I named it that? So in their Blackbird song, um, there's a lyric called "Let Your Wings Carry You Home." So since they're both titled Blackbird, I took the lyric from that because Blackbird by the Beatles definitely was the big um, kind of foundation of this book, but Blackbird by Alter Bridge perfectly describes part two. And so I added that little carry you home as a homage to anyone that knows Alter Bridge for them to notice it and be like, hold on. But those are my plans. Like after I release Blackbird Part 2, I'm just gonna solely focus on the series. And I have a website. It's crystalcristbooks.com. So if anyone wants to pre-order a physical, I have them available for pre-order on my website. And the ebook is available for pre-order, but just download it for free. Go to my profile and just freaking get it. Like, why purchase the ebook? Come on, it's
if you're
fine.
getting it for free, you better review.
Please, I would appreciate it. And also, like if you really want a physical. But that's it. I'm trying to learn to take breaks, which I'm not good at. So I will just focus on this after Blackbird and just get that out so I have time to myself.
Well, you've got to take a little bit of a break to go to some events.
Yeah, I
Those are
do.
fun, though. It's work, but it's fun work.
It is fun. And I actually ended up purchasing a pack of ISBNs so that I can actually reach out to some bookstores and try to get Courting Sin in there.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I fully own every bit of rights to Courting Sin, and it's a good feeling.
That's good. So no plans to be published like traditionally published?
I would love it. It'd be really cool. And I will probably maybe query, but I really struggle with the idea of giving up any of my control over my books, and I don't write them for money. Like, yeah, it'd be so cool to, you know, for my husband to be able to just not work and I'm just a famous author. So cool. But that's not why I'm writing. And that's why I have my ebook up for free for anyone to download it. I'm writing it because I love writing stories and I love sharing my stories. Would it be cool to make some money off of it? Of course. That's what, well, unfortunately, our world runs off of money. But I will continue to publish my books regardless of if I make 0 cents. So I'm not in a rush to try to get any publishing house to take all of my creativity away from me.
I get that. Well, thank you so much for being here. It was so much
Thanks for
fun.
having me.
I
This is cool.
adore you. Can't wait to see all the amazing things that you do. And
Thank you.
stock all of your audiobooks.
Like we all seriously stalk your pages, all of them.
Well,
We
you.
are having a Halloween party on October 9th, Book Talk with Kayas, and everybody that wears a costume can hop up in a box and talk about their book more or whatever, and you get entered for a giveaway if you're interested.
Ooh, I might come
29th.
by.
Huh?
October 29th.
Yep. the 29th, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
My kids are making me be K-pop demon hunters this year, so you can see me as a Rumi.
That's going to be
I can't wait
amazing.
to see it.
I'll have to find the purple wig. Well, thank
Hello?
you.
Yeah, thank you. It was so much fun. We loved having you. You guys go stalk her on all social media stuff. Find her, follow her,
I'm
Get
download
on
her
gonna
her
book, my kids.
bio.
to bed now. There's probably
Get
torture
on
and
her
medicine
bio. Get the
downstairs.
book.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you guys.
Bye, Crystal.
Bye.